It's been good.
Oh,
I'm in Florida, so I'm visiting home, so it's been nice to just kind of be back and get some rest and just, hang out with family. So it's been good.
oh my God. When you said I'm in Florida, I was like, do they celebrate that there? No.
Yeah, no, they do. Definitely do.
How have you been feeling? How is life? How is music? I always start interviews with casual conversations.
Yeah, totally. Life it's been kind of crazy the past few months. I'd say it's like toward the end of the year is always kind of a crazy time when it comes to music and just kind of getting all the stuff ready for next year and meetings with my team and just trying to figure out what we're gonna do as far as like release strategies and stuff like that. So it's always kind of overwhelming during this time, but also obviously it's I'm blessed to be able to have conversations about, music and being able to do the things I do. But yeah, the we just got off a short like tour run. We did like a 2 week situation. And that was really cool as well. And obviously, like I said, very crazy, just very tiring. But overall, it's been really good. It's just been a lot of stuff happening with
Do you
music.
ever
So
do you ever feel like with the December such a tricky month because some people say it's dead, some people say it's not. Like, do you ever feel when you're gathering, I guess in this theme of Thanksgiving, gathering all your notes of what you've done, do you feel like you've gotten ahead?
That's a good question. I feel like to an extent, yes. I do feel like if I actually take the time to like sit back and like look at all the things I've done for the year, I typically feel pretty happy with my situation and where I'm at. I'm like kind of a person who always thinks really futuristically and kind of almost too much to the extent that I'll kind of negate like what I've done for the year. I do that a lot. So I try to kind of write like a goals list at the end of every year and try to look back at it the next December and kind of cross off what I did. Something that kind of is helpful in that way. But yeah, I don't know. December is always kind of a busy month for me. I think a lot of people that aren't in a creative job kind of obviously have like a normal situation where they're like off for the holidays, but I don't think I feel like I'm ever truly off. And yeah, we have a lot to do during this time of the year because it is a slow season for musicians, which then just gives you ample time to work on like the next year's stuff. So yeah, but I definitely think it's hard to feel like I've ever really done enough, but something I'm working on for sure.
It's so funny you say that because it was revealed to me a few weeks ago that I'm the artist hippie friend of my friendship group. So, basically, I'm always kind of use what you're saying. You're never off when you're creative. And that's what could be so depressing and a little bit inducing. You're always making something in hopes that you make it. And I'm wondering when now that you're more in the game, you're talking to your team, you're doing your tours, has making it been redefined or is it still like just a certain concept? And what is that concept?
I think making it definitely is like a concept that I kind of think about all the time. I think as a creative, we're always like wondering when that feeling will come up and we're like, oh, this is the thing that we've been waiting for. I feel like when you're kind of always chasing something in music, especially, it's like you're always looking for that next thing and then you'll get that thing that you wanted and you're already looking for the next one. So I'm trying to really work on staying present and like being grateful for like where I'm at and the small steps that I've taken. But I feel like making it for me, my brain has always kind of thought of it like if I can, like once there's like a point in my career, I never like live the same day like again, like the same day twice. I feel like that'll kind of feel like the moment. I think right now I'm in a point where like there's a lot of big things that'll happen in viral moments and like exciting things and like a small tour or whatever. But like then there's obviously the points where you come back and your life is the same as it always has been, where you're still like kind of chasing that thing. But I
Ground
feel like once you get to a point in your career, like things kind of pick up and you never feel this necessarily like super slow point again. You have like a loyal fan base that you're performing often and yeah, you're meeting new creatives and people to work with. And I just feel like, yeah, there's definitely a certain point where your life won't look the way it does right now ever again once you have music to a certain degree in your life as a career. And so yeah, I think that'll be the moment where I'm like, I can't ever have this normalcy again. And that's when I'll probably feel that way. Um but yeah, that's kind of how my brain has always thought about it, which I don't know if it'll be a good feeling or a bad feeling. I guess I won't know until if it potentially happens, but um yeah, that's kind of how I think about it.
I mean, I think it's healthy that you said it's a feeling because most people think it's a place. And I think you're right in that the feeling is that there's adventure and it's not just Groundhog Day every day. You rinse and repeat. So, going off this idea of trying to be grateful and present, and it is Thanksgiving, what are three things you are thankful to you for?
It's a good question. I've never thought about that. I would say I think I'm thankful to myself for this past year, just like really prioritizing my like mental space and uh giving myself rest. I think that's something I'm not good at doing at all. And I've really tried to do that this year. A lot more. I
Yeah.
think I'm thankful to myself for writing more. I think, writing songs doesn't always come easy when you're not necessarily maybe like in a creative space, you're not feeling inspired. And I've tried to write as much as possible this year, even like without co-writers, even just on my own time, just to kind of continue the muscle and work that muscle out and not, let it get too much, to a point where I'm just stopping writing because I don't feel like it. Cause I feel like you're not always inspired. So it's good to just practice that and keep up with it. And then yeah, I feel like I'd the last one would be like thankful to myself for, just pushing through the past few years and not giving up on music and um yeah, not stopping when there was times where I was unsure if this was going to work out and just unsure of a lot of different things in my life. But yeah, I feel like I've always just like kept up with what I wanted and stayed persistent in like the highs and lows of this. And so yeah, that's probably what I would say, I think.
Oh my God, look at you thanking you. That was nice.
I
You
tried. I never think about that kind of stuff, so it's interesting.
did it make you feel good though?
Yeah, I feel like it just, yeah, I definitely think so. I think it's important to do. I just am not great at thinking about myself in like a way where I'm giving like affirmations, I guess, to myself, but I think it's something that is helpful for sure.
Do you think it would be a cool perspective in terms of music? That's something that I've been trying to do, especially as a songwriter, write music, not always from a place of, well, I don't really always write music from a place of sadness, but I do write it from a place of perspective. And I've been wondering about the power of writing songs from a perspective, a better perspective than what you're actually at. Because some people really do believe songs can manifest and
Mhm.
can be affirmative, but also like literally like bring you up. Do you think that could work for you?
I would love to think it could. I haven't really thought of it that way, and I've never kind of written, I would say, that way. I feel like I'm always writing from like current emotion and feeling and like just
Yeah.
experiences. But I do think it could be definitely a good practice to try just as a writer in general, trying to kind of push yourself out of your comfort zone. That would definitely be something that would be like out of my comfort zone. Even like songs that are leaning in a more positive way are kind of hard for me to write. Not because I feel like I'm always, down and sad, but I just think it's a lot harder for me to write a song that I'm like proud of if it's super happy. I don't know. It's like there's like this like corniness aspect to it that I always feel like I'm like, is this like so lame and makes me like not like it as much. I don't know. I think it's definitely something I would have to practice more to see like how I could make a song that's a little bit more like uplifting and positive that also still feels like me. And isn't me trying to like, yeah, like I said, be corny. So but yeah, I definitely think it could be a good practice.
I think you're totally right. It's so crazy you mentioned that because like I've been trying to write love songs because I'm like,
Mm,
and everybody's leaving you. Stop writing,
yeah.
everybody's exiting. And I'm thinking about, but sometimes it's crazy how sad songs are easier than happy ones. And then I have the same mentality, which is that the happy ones I do must be corny. But then I listen to like I love like 1950s love songs. I'm like, they're not corny, even if they're calling like her cheeks as are two peaches. I think they're poetic. So I do wonder, and I asked this to myself, and I ask you now, do you feel that the corniness comes from, well, kind of what you were saying, you're not in the love place? So it's not that the song is corny, is that you're not there.
I think, yeah. I mean, I definitely think I think when you're not feeling something, there's some artists I know that love, like, writing about things that maybe like someone else they know is going through and experiencing, and it's a little harder for them to write about like more of like that personal experience. But for me, it's kind of the opposite where I'm a lot more in touch with like what I'm experiencing versus like trying to write from someone else's perspective. So yeah, if I'm not like currently in like a situation where I'm feeling in love or I'm feeling like inspired to write that. I just feel like what I end up coming up with is like just not resonating, I guess. And when you're not resonating with the song, I mean, obviously it's harder, even harder for the audience to resonate. I feel like because it's like a thing where people I feel like can just tell like the song didn't come from like an authentic spot, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I definitely struggle to write happier love songs. And maybe that's because I haven't been in like a super like committed, healthy relationship since I was like probably like 18 and I'm 23 now. So yeah, I've just been so out of touch with that kind of part of me for a long time. So yeah, I think it would be hard for
2024,
me.
2024.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Right?
We'll
Um,
see what happens.
well, going off of that idea, what is a movie or even a book that you feel you could write a love song to, and why?
Hmm. I feel like a movie. Let's think about that. I watch a lot of rom-coms, so I feel like I should know the answer to this. I mean, I don't know if it would be a love song. I mean, I guess it would be, but I love like The Phantom of the Opera. That's like one of my favorite movies ever, which I think is so weird because like no one knows really watches that nowadays, I guess. Like in my generation, people are like, what's the Phantom of the Opera? And I'm like, okay. But yeah, I definitely feel like I could write a soundtrack sort of situation movie song to that. Just because that movie is something I've been watching. I mean, I started watching it when I was like 6, and like my sister just kept rewatching it over and over again, mainly because I love the soundtrack of that movie. So I don't know. I think the characters are very interesting in it, and I think like the Phantom's relationship to like the lead girl is so intriguing to me. And I was
Yeah.
always Team Phantom, so I'd probably find a way to write that and try to relate to it.
I don't know. I'm like trying to think of it, and I'm thinking of like that, like the Phantom of the Opera, like Twilight. Like there's just some element of like stalker to the
Mm,
love story. You're like, he watches me
yeah.
in the shadows and sleeping, like there's
Yeah,
just something
creepy.
a little like it could be. I feel like it will be like one of those songs that like sounds beautiful and catchy, and then when you actually hear it, it's super creepy.
Yeah,
Like
totally.
the song, what's the song that's like it went viral again? I'll be watching you every step you take, every like that. It's the Police song, and it came out like in the 80s, and then it's been remade and it became like the BIG, Notorious BIG funeral song. But I remember like they did an interview with I love looking up like documentaries, music documentaries and interviews, and they did an
Yeah,
interview with Sting, and he was saying he wrote it because he was so in love with a girl and he
yeah.
was following her, like he was that enamored. So it's actually a stalker song that became a funeral song that now is a viral TikTok song.
Wow.
It just can't stop growing
Yeah.
beyond stalker.
Yeah, that's funny. That's so funny. No, I love watching interviews too and like researching why things are what they are and kind of like learning more about the songs. I think I'm like a weirdo, but I definitely look into everything a little too much.
No, I love it's a wormhole. Music documentaries are so good, especially because they have a formula. Like they always have
Right.
like pretty music, and then your friends are talking. Like I remember when we were young. It's kind of like true crime, but without the crime. It's that same energy of we have to investigate why the hell this happened, but without like so much murder. So yeah. So I always end the interviews with like an oracle, like it's just positive cards, talking about whatever, like these are about your aura and your energy. And would you like me to toss you a few?
Sure.
Oh, okay, well, this one came out. Ooh, mystery. Your first one, mystery. We pop in another two. Ooh, okay, so you got mystery. It kind of goes with the theme, balance and ideation. So what it's basically like mystery is all about the unknown. Purple
Mm,
is the color of power. Balance is all about balancing your energies, which is something that you mentioned. Green is the color of abundance, and ideation is all about dreaming. So basically, like the core message is don't let the unknown imbalance you and then block you from focusing on the dreams and continuing the
mm, cool. Love that. Love that.
yeah, core
Very
message.
true.
Yeah, yeah, they're really simple. I like them because there's nothing doomy or gloomy about them.
Yeah.
Mm, pretty Amazon colors.
Love that.
Amazon
Love
Prime colors. But thank you so much for this interview. It was really lovely meeting you. Good luck in everything. Hope
Thank you so much.
2024 brings you love and a lot of prosperity.
Thank you. Have a good one. Thanks for talking.
You too. Happy Thanksgiving. Bye.